These stocks could absolutely change your life. Now, what we're going to be doing today is going through the Outlier trading room plan, following my style of trading called the golden ticket trading strategy. And we're going to be filtering to find the best stocks in the market, the ones that absolutely could change your life. So if that sounds like you're in the right place, by all means, let's get busy here. Now, this is my style of trading using Outlier, and it starts with what is the market telling us? Now, the move of any stock is determined 40% by the market, 30% due to the sector, and the last 30% due to the stock itself. I actually had someone leave a YouTube comment over the weekend that I thought was pretty brilliant. They were like, how about instead of weighting each one of them as 1 out of 9, if you're saying it's 40%, it should be weighted as 40%. And I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. We'll have to test that later on. But we're trying to find the best buys in the markets. So we're going to look at the trend of the market first with the S&P 500. So the easiest way to do that is in Outlier, just pop open the S&P 500 chart right there, the SPY, and you're going to notice in 1 second that it has a green background, right? A green background means the 10 over the 20, price over the 50 outlier trend template is in place. When the outlier trend template is in place, the easiest direction, the path of least resistance, the way the market is going is trending up. So don't ever fight the trends. Don't ever fight the trends. You'll also notice that we have a buy signal here on the market. It's getting more and more greedy. So the market itself is actually looking really strong. So bullish trend, bullish signal. Well, now what about breadth? Now, we have been doing a lot of experimenting on breadth lately. And first, let's notice here that the green line right here, this is our bull list percent. This is how many stocks have buy signals versus sell signals. And it peaked just a couple days ago and is starting to drift downward. Now, I feel like we may have hit a short-term top. May have, right? This absolutely works as a market cycle indicator. And we may have hit a short-term top. We're not seeing this huge push higher like we had seen in previous cycles here. I mean, look at this one where it's waffling sideways versus this one that shot up, this one that shot up, and this one that shot up in the last 3 times that this happened. So I'm not sure that we've got that much momentum behind us. And then additionally, how many stocks are getting more uptrends versus downtrends? Now we have something we are experimenting with, learning with, that we're calling donkey channels. Just internally, just for fun, we're calling them donkey channels. Now we actually got a score of 1 today instead of a score of 2 because we have less downtrends, but we don't have more uptrends. So less downtrends still helps us in this case. So we've got a market score of 1 on the breadth. And then for Friday, one day ago, we have a score of 0. So we're going to keep track of that as we go as well. Now, let's go ahead and move into the sectors, right? We've talked about the trend, the signal, and the breadth. Let's move into the sectors. And so we're going to do that by clicking this other bookmark lit. That's going to run all the sectors for us all at once. But in the meantime, while that's running, let me introduce myself real quick. I am a random guy on the internet, so don't listen to anything they have to say. But my name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. We go live twice a day, every day, and I don't want you to miss out. So let's look at the sectors. Looking at the sectors, we see some different numbers here. Full stocks, we got a score of 1. The S&P, I don't use as my sector. I'm sorry, my full breadth analysis, but you could. And that has a score of 2. So I only look at full stocks. Now, several of these actually have 2s. Several of them have 2s today. Let's go through this. Let's go through this. So Chris is going to have to mark this up real quick, right quick. So for today, we've got communications, discretionary, energy, financials, healthcare, industrials has a total score. Oh, that's total score. Did I mess that up? I did mess that up. Hold tight. We need to go with this result, and that's a total score today, total score yesterday. Okay, my bad. So we have communication 1. Everything's 1 except for industrials. That's a 2. That's a 2. And then everything else is 1. Okay. And then yesterday, which would have been Friday, we've got a 1 in communications, 0 in discretionary, 1 in energy, 0 in financials, 1 in healthcare, 0 in industrials, 1 in materials, 0 in real estate, all the way down to utilities, and that had a 1. Okay. And then, so we're scoring those donkey channels that we just talked about, but also we need to take into account the breadth of the sectors. So let's pop this open, close this, and we can see here the communications, the financials, and the technology sectors are bearish. Financials, communications, and technology sectors are bearish. Financials, communications, and technology are all bearish. Now the rest are bullish. Discretionary and energy. So we've got those 3 that are bearish, the rest are bullish. Now, looking at this, do any of them have a score of 3 or greater? Right? The only one that's going to score 3 or greater is industrials. So really that's the only sector that I would be even interested in. And real quick, let's do this because this will make life easy. We can go over here and we can look at the fear and greed score for the industrials. That's XLI. What we want to see is the fear and greed score going up. Fear and greed score going up on average in the sector. And it is. On average in the sector, in that particular sector, the fear and greed score is going up. So very cool. So the industrial sector is the one that I would be looking at. That's the only one I'd be looking at because we got a score of 1 on the market and 2 in that sector. So next, let's go to the screener. Now on the screener, I'll show you my criteria. And let's hit screeners, hit outlier bullish, and hit apply. Deep Thought said Julian Hall wins the internet for the day. Now I have to scroll up and see. I have to scroll. What did Julian Hall say? I've completely missed it. Hang on, scrolling. Yeah, I don't know what Julian said, but congratulations to Julian for winning the internets today. So this is my criteria right here. Feel free to take a screenshot, but we're going to filter this down to just the industrials. All right, just the industrials and apply the filter. And looking at this here, what I'm going to do is copy the yesterday signals and today's signals. So the 25th and the 28th. And there's not that many. So we're going to start here, copy these up. Copy. There. Drop it here. Symbols. Okay, so the only one that would pass on the score is MWA. Now, that makes life really easy, right? We can just look at one stock, MWA. And we'll drop this over here. So now we can start looking at the options, right? Now, but before we get to the options, you're probably asking yourself at this point, what is Outlier and how does it work? Well, old Uncle Warren used to say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Outlier shows you if investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy and by how much, allowing you to get into the stock before the outlier move happens. Now, if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, it's just 3 easy steps. Step 1, head on over to outlier.com, grab the annual pass, which is just 82 cents a day. Step 2, and if you're on the monthly plan, you can upgrade with 1 click and save 64% off the regular monthly price. Step 2 is using the OVTLYR Nine template. I'm showing you how to do this. I show you how to do it every single day, so you know exactly what to do when you get inside of Outlier. Step 3 is sit back and relax because you just found the easiest way to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. So we've looked at the sectors, right? We've understood that only one sector has bullish fear and greed and bullish breadth. Now we're going to be looking at the stocks. So we ran the screener, and the only one that pulled through was MWA. So let's go look on MWA's chart. Let's look on MWA's chart. And it is right smack dab in the middle of an order block. Now, why do we care about that, right? We want to find the trend, the signal, the fear and greed, and the outlier blocks working in our favor. So let's look at MWA real quick and go through everything except for that point. Let's type in MWA here. Mike has a great question. Why was MWA the only one to look at? So the screener, right? We filtered it down just to the industrials, right? And we did that by looking and saying, okay, which sectors are bullish or bearish on their breadth? And then which sectors have a higher score on the donkey channels? Let's go look at the donkey channels. Now, of course, donkey channels is our nickname for the Donchian channels. And we showed a moment ago on the full stocks. We'll do it again. we showed a moment ago on the full stocks that the full stocks have a score of 1. We have less downtrends today, but we don't have more uptrends as a whole of the 2,600 stocks that Outlier covers. Now, if we go into the industrials sector, we're getting more buy signals, which is pushing breadth higher, which is what we want to see. And then we're going to look over here at how many uptrends versus downtrends we have. Run the donkey channels button again here. And we can see a score of 2, because we have more new uptrends coming through and less new downtrends coming through. Less new downtrends. So looking at that, that's going to give us a score of 2 for that sector in industrials, plus the 1 on the market gives it a score of 3. Now, when we filter down just on the industrial sector in my screener, it's only a handful of stocks to choose from, right? I copied those into Excel just for ease, and it automatically calculated that for me using this spreadsheet. Now, this spreadsheet's available in our Discord. You don't need it. It just makes things a lot simpler when I'm going through this. The only one with the score of 3 is MWA. Now, why did the others not pull through? Is because their buy signal came on Friday when the score of the sector was 0. That's why the others did not pull through. So the only one that pulled through today is MWA. Now, going back over to here, let's look at the trend of MWA. We've got the 10 over 20, price over 50. We've got a buy signal. MWA is growing ever so slightly on its fear and greed on itself, right? The fear and greed for this stock is getting slightly higher. So that's green, that's green, that's green. Now the outlier blocks, they don't work for us, right? It's right in the middle of this outlier block. And the outlier blocks are areas of strong support and resistance. Let me show you a strong support right here, right? This outlier block was created in April, and it's come up, bounced once, bounced twice, came down, bounced a third time, and it's even tried to wick down a couple times, right? This is a huge area of support right here. And the same would be true going up, right? It's tried to cross up into this area a couple times now, hasn't made it. So outlier blocks are areas of support and resistance that we want to use on the chart. And you can get the exact same setup that I have here, exactly. The only thing that's going to be different are the colors, because I like these colors on here. If you go in our Discord, we have a script where you can use the free trading view plan and a free trading view script and get your charts to look exactly like mine. Exactly like mine. Now, these order blocks are stacked all over the place. And because of that, I'm not going to put any risk in the market, as it's going to crash through or try to crash through more areas of resistance. So for me, I wouldn't be taking any trades today because this is the only one that sets up. And the only one that sets up has all of this overhead resistance. So for Chris, you know what? Even though we're looking for stocks that are going to change your life, today, the trade to make is what? The trade to make is sit in cash and don't F up. Right? Sit in cash and don't F up. And like I say, I think we're due for a short-term pullback, but that's just my opinion. But in the meantime, let's look at a couple of your stocks. Bull Market Genius wants to look at GXO. Let's run the Outlier 9 on a couple of your stocks, and let's see what pulls through for GXO. Bull Market Genius says it's in the industrial sector. I see it's also in the industrial sector. It's got a buy signal that came through on Friday, getting more greedy. Right now, remember, I didn't take the trade on Friday because the Donchian channel score, the Donkey channel score was 0, but we can still look at it today. We can still look at it. GXO. See, this one actually looks great. It's got that support order block underneath it. It's running into earnings in the next couple of days, and I love that. This is one of my all-time favorite trades. Is to buy a stock that's running up into earnings, and that might be the case here. So it's got a bullish trend, a buy signal, getting more greedy. The sector's getting more greedy. More breadth is coming through. I mean, the only reason I didn't take it is specifically because the Donchian channels don't align to have that score of 3 or more for me. But dude, this looks great. This is a really brilliant setup here. Jonathan, that was just Friday, right? It's my rule is I'll look at a yesterday trade and a today trade. And of course, today's Monday, so I will look at a Friday trade. Julian has a question. Do you apply the Donkey channel score of T-1 to the stocks with the buy signal that started on T-1? Yes, exactly. Right. So I'm applying that score. So the yesterday score to yesterday buy signals. All right. So the buy signal came through yesterday. Let me just type this out here. Buy signal. This is the Outlier returns. It's a stock name. All right, that's what these are. Let's wrap these. Save that. So I'm applying the donkey channel score of that date to the date of the buy signal. VACLAV is total score is 2 for the sector, 1 for stocks. Chris uses a 2 from the sector. Yeah, exactly. Right there. We want X4. Is that a stock? Let's go look at X4. XFOR. That's not a stock. I don't know what you're talking about. Are there any other stocks that you guys want to look at today? Any other stocks that you guys FLR from Peter Payne. Peter Payne must be friends with Peter Parker. Has to be friends with Peter Parker. FLR in the industrial sector as well. Buy signal 10/20, price over 50. Getting more greedy in the buy in the sector. But like I say, for me, it didn't set up because that buy signal came on Friday rather than today. So even though it's set up for everything except one thing, I mean that'll discount for me. Right? I want my trades to be set up as the best trades in the market. I'm not going to take anything but that. But this one looks really great too, dude. And running up into earnings, I love it. I love it. Shay Keen wants to look at everybody's most popular stock on the internet, SoFi, right? SoFi is such a meme stock, Now let's go to SoFi. And when I say SoFi is such a meme stock, man, the SoFi bros, they come out hard and fast. So SoFi got a sell signal last Monday on the 21st, right? Let's mark that on here where it's got that sell signal on the 21st. Okay. And I've been telling people, right? SoFi is just not, the momentum is not there for SoFi. Coming right up into earnings too. So anything can happen. It could absolutely dominate and be way up on earnings, or it might really struggle and hit the dirt here. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows earnings, but we're going to look at it objectively, right? So the market's not going to change. So the trend, the signal, and the breadth are, hang on, I'm trying to do something here. Trying to make it so we can do this. I can click it. The trend, the signal are going to stay the same. Breadth is not there. I mean, it's kind of there, but it's really not. It's not pushing up higher on the Donchian channel. So for me, that would disqualify any trades just for today. I mean, it might come back later, but for me today, I'm not interested. Fear and greed and breadth for the sector. Well, the sector breadth is not doing so hot, right? It actually has negative breadth in the sector. And the donkey channels are not pushing up any new higher uptrends here, just based on my observation right there. So it's not looking so great down here either. Now, the stock itself does have the uptrend, 10/20, price over 50. So I'll give you a green trend. But it's got a sell signal, and the fear and greed is going down. Right? The fear and greed is going down. So it's getting more and more fearful. And then it is sitting on top of an outlier block. It's sitting right here inside of an outlier block right here. So honestly, this is a stock that Chris would not buy, not even with your money. This is a weak sell for me. But you know what? It could be a huge stock for you. And maybe it has been because a lot of people have made a lot of really great money. It's just now over $20 or so. So now this is a stock that Chris might be interested in the next time we get some buy signals on it. So listen, no new stock set up for me as new stocks that might change your life. But of course, remember, always keep your money ready. Use consistency and discipline because there will be a time, maybe in the near future, where we will be getting into everything we possibly can, going full port, and hopefully making all kinds of money. Listen, if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, YouTube's popping up a couple of videos right now. You should click one of them, and you should have a fantastic day.